fund is being allocated for that?
I'm not seeing that in the resolution.
It is in the background information, the summary of the Urban Renewal Fund. I don't know, it's in the whole packet information. And it says, continuing infrastructure upgrades to ensure safe, efficient wastewater service and support future development. This $865,000 project is funded through CURA, the Capital Improvement Fund, sewer SDCs, and sewer fund.
So a portion of that will go. We won't have final numbers until we go. This is just an appropriation, a spending plan. That doesn't mean it's designated to specific dollars yet.
Okay, and then the other question, there's 6 questions, so I'm going to go through. Was the Meadow Lake transmission line identified when CURA was established in 2009?
In the 2009 plan?
Yeah.
No, it came forward with council with a special IGA agreement.
Okay. Are the utilities being undergrounded or just rerouted to the back of the buildings?
It's a combination.
Okay, and so far they've just rerouted some utilities to the back of the buildings?
It's a project in process.
Okay. So is there a cost estimate for those utilities being undergrounded?
I think we've got pending PGE meetings. Am I correct? Yes.
We do not have final design and therefore no final numbers yet.
Okay, and then it also listed some safety and beautification enhancement on West Main. Could you tell me what the cost of any of those enhancements were on West Main?
Which page number are you referencing, Counselor?
On our Carlton annual budget, it is on page 5, pedestrian improvements, downtown utility.
I'm sorry, page 5 in our packet is actually the cover of the Urban
Okay, so
Renewal
no,
District.
it's in this one. I don't know where it is in the packet. These are just questions that people asked of me, so.
Because we didn't have advance notice of it, it'd be helpful if we have a page number to reference.
Okay, well, maybe perhaps you can answer that later and then I will get back to you. And then also in the downtown utility undergrounding, it says it improves aesthetics, safety and walkability in the heart of the commercial corridor. How does undergrounding utilities increase the safety and walkability?
The entire downtown project is envisioned to be greater than just undergrounding utilities. It's to also improve sidewalks, street trees, walkability.
Okay. And then my other question is, this is a personal question. We are this year, this appropriation of tax money is going to cause the school district to lose $93,171 of tax revenue. How does all of this benefit the school district, and do they have a stake at the table?
That was all done when the CURA was actually formed through all of those public hearings. The people impacted would have been consulted at that time. That's part of the public hearing process. If council wishes to revisit that in a future council meeting, we could certainly make that an agenda item, but it is not on the table for the budget today.
Okay, and so if next year and the year after, if the school district wants a seat at the table in the coming years as they face less state funding and perhaps budget shortfalls and declining enrollment, will the council be open to including them as a stakeholder?
That would have to be a discussion amongst the council, and we can certainly arrange a work session to discuss that and whether or not we can go through state law about how urban renewal districts are formed, what the requirements is, what their lifespans are, and what their projects are once they're formed, and what the state requirements are, if that is something council wishes to revisit.
Okay, and is there a place anywhere where the projects are specifically outlined and costs are assessed and allocated against the revenue?
There would have been a project list if there's any cost estimates, obviously taking into account when that project list was done. would have to be taken. It would have to be considered.
So what I see for coming before us now is $65,000 for the Meadow Lake transmission line debt repayment.
That is obligated by an IGA with the city of Carlton.
Mhm. And so that's being paid for with it for the Urban Renewal Agency money.
Correct, part of it.
Mhm.
It's its portion.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Let's see. So we're at, open that, okay, at this time I will open the public testimony portion of the hearing. If you wish to speak, please state your name and address clearly for the record. Was there any written testimony that came in?
No written testimony.
Thank you. So do we have anybody who would like to testify or comment regarding this? Yes, ma'am.
Name is Catherine Warner. I live at 11200 Northeast Gulf Boulevard. And I'm really a little bit shocked about the $93,000. The $93,000 that was, that's used in the school district for this. So I urge the city councilors to take a look at that because that's a teacher. And these are really hard times for our school district. All of us. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Okay, there are no other comments. The public testimony portion of this hearing is now closed and the council will deliberate. Would any council member like to start? Any comment? You have any deliberations? Yes, ma'am.
Just a question in terms of the dollar amount that's, not going towards the school district. Is that because through the urban renewal district, the taxes were frozen at that point in time? Okay.
That is correct. And we bring forward those amounts every January. That's mandatory by ORS to report to the state. And so it's a frozen tax value.
Are there any other questions?
Can I comment on that, please, unless you're not done? Shirley, are you not done? It's my understanding that we freeze the tax base at a certain rate and then taxes collected above that rate are appropriated and used for the Carlton Urban Renewal Agency. And then those funds would normally go as tax revenue to the school district and to the fire district and to the library, just to name a few, Chemeketa Community College. The fire district would have gotten $20,452 in tax revenue. The YC School District would have gotten $93,000. Chemeketa Community College, $12,000. So that is tax revenue that is diverted to the Carlton Urban Renewal Agency. It's not additional taxes that we pay. It's just a diversion of taxes, as my understanding. And you can correct that, please, if I'm incorrect on that.
That's correct. Urban renewal agencies are pretty much through most municipalities frozen. That's why it goes to public hearing in 2009 with all the stakeholders making those decisions during that time, and it expires in 2031.
Councilor Ward Mullen, did you have? Oh, okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, I will now entertain a motion for Cura Resolution number 2025-12. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve and authorize the Cura chairperson to sign resolution number 2025-12, adopting the Urban Renewal Agency budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026, making appropriations and declaring a tax increment.
Thank you. Is
I
there,
second it.
thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 No.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, so it is now, what are we doing? It is now 6:16 and we are closing the public hearing for Cura Resolution 2025-12. And we are adjourning. Moving. Okay. It is 6:10 PM and we are adjourning to the city, well, not adjourning, but yeah, city council regular meeting. Could you call the roll call, please?
Mayor Linda Watkins,
Here.
Council President Kevin Picker is absent. Councilor Shirley Ward Mullen,
Here.
Councilor
Here.
Carolyn Paulson Isaac,
Here.
Here.
Hey, could you please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Fine. Let me find my chair here. Okay, are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, number 8B will be removed from the agenda.
Okay, we've got that taken care of. All righty. And we are down to another public hearing. It is now what time? 6:18. And I hereby call open the public hearing of the Carlton City Council regarding resolutions 2025-369, 370, and 371. Counselors, do you have any conflicts of interest or abstentions to declare?
No.
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 Good, okay, we're good. Okay, staff will now summarize the resolutions for tonight's audience and provide any additional information to be added to the record before continuing with the public testimony.
Okay, the first one is Resolution 2025-369, declaring the city's election to receive state revenues. This is required by the state of Oregon. The Budget Committee did meet and review the FY26 budget, recommending that the state revenue funds be continued to be allocated to the street fund in FY26. The projected revenues that will be helping the street fund will be $42,000. And then the summary of the next one is 2025-370. And this is certifying the eligibility of the city of Carlton to receive these revenues. And what this means is if our county has a population above 100,000, we're required to certify that we can and that we offer at least 4 of the following services, which we do. We offer police protection, we offer street construction, maintenance and lighting, the sewer, the storm sewer, and planning. So we're above that, and this certifies to the state that we do. And then the final resolution is Resolution 3071, which is bringing the approved budget from the Budget Committee on May 6th to council to adopt. No changes were made, and the total FY26 appropriations are $24,273,951.
Thank you. Does council have any questions for staff? Yes.
Christie, I just want to clarify, did you mean a population of 1,000 URBA? I thought I heard 100,000.
It's 100,000 for the whole county,
Oh, the
not the
county.
city.
Okay, thank
Sorry, I've got a little frog in my throat, so it might not be coming out as clear.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, so at this time, I will open public testimony portion of the hearing. If you wish to speak, please state your name and address clearly for the record. Are there any questions out here? All righty. In that case, the public testimony portion of this hearing is now closed and the council will deliberate. Would any council member like to start? Any comments on the? Nope. Okay. In that case, I will entertain a motion for resolution number 2025-369.
I move that the city council approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2025-369.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Call for a vote. This is still just a,
Regular vote.
yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And now we will consider a motion for resolution number 2025-370. Do I have a motion?
I move that the council approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2025-370.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, we have resolution number 205371. Is there a motion?
I move that the council approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2025-371.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will you please identify what we're voting for? Is what, the resolution number is for what? What's the resolution for? What page are you on?
It's page 11 of the packet.
That's for adopting the city budget?
Yes.
Okay. I actually have discussion on that. There was no offer for discussion on that one. So I would like,
Yeah,
I have
actually,
some
There
discussion.
actually was an offer of discussion.
Okay. Well, do I have a opportunity to make comments? No or yes?
We voted, haven't we?
Okay, so I vote no. If I can't discuss, thank you.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a vote? What? Oh, okay. Sorry, guys, this is a long one. 6:24. So did we vote? We did. Okay. Okay, the time is now 6:24, and I am now closing the public hearing for resolutions 2025-369, 370, and 371. And we are now moving on to citizen comments. This is the section of the agenda that allows members of the public to address the city council on any items off or on the agenda. When invited by the mayor, members of the public shall come forward, state your name and street address, and direct all comments to the mayor. Comments are typically limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is allowed by the mayor. We start with item A, items not on the current agenda. Does anybody wish to speak? Let's see, not on the agenda? Okay.
Guessing this is on. No.
No,
There's a big button on the front of it.
I got a green light. Catherine Dorner, 11200 Northeast Medofrey Road. And I want to say that I'm really sorry that I missed the community corner, but I had no idea. And I haven't been checking the website regularly for that. And I constantly add my email every time I come here. So I don't know if we're being contacted by email or not, but I'm not. And I really regret not being there. That was important to me. So I don't know if there's any way, I do try to check, but I've been busy and so
These things
send me an email. Thank you.
these things happen, but we will. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Anybody else? Okay, any comments on items that are on the agenda tonight? Community?
Madrid has her hand up.
Okay. Ms. Madrid?
Good evening to the council. I would like to express my support for involving the stakeholders and most certainly the school district in the next budget cycle regarding the CURA appropriations. These are very tough times, especially in education budgets. And I think it would behoove the council to include them in future plans. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. We will put that on the agendas. All righty. We are down to the consent agenda. Meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 6th?
Mayor, before the council considers approving the entire consent agenda, we might want to receive an additional update regarding the pool memo that was in the consent agenda. We had some activity last night, and at this time, if I can, hand it over to Ashley.
Thank you.
I'm Ashley Boyd, and I'm helping facilitate the pool this summer. There is a little memo in your packets outlining some of the information. However, this week, as of yesterday, we did start doing like pre-sale for pool passes and swim lesson registrations at the pool house in the evenings from 5 to 7, so that parents, after they're off work, are able to get to the pool house. And it's going really well. I have 2 staff there now doing sales. It's also a good time for the guards to interact with the community and get to know the people in the community. Last night, our pre-sales was just over $3,000 for the first night. So I think that indicates, a pretty good pool season. We have a lot of people coming out and using the pool. Yeah, are there any questions? No?
Thanks. I love the pool.
Thank you.
It's a great asset for our community, and regardless of whether it makes money or not, it adds to the benefit of our whole community.
Okay. In that case, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
There a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Ordinances, resolutions, discussion and action items. And that is item A is Carlton Fun Days street closure approval. Mr. Rake.
think that's me. Hey, Ron.
You have
So
those
on
names.
page 190 of your packet, it's a huge packet, is the Carlton Fun Days application for the event. We are asking for the free swim on Saturday, as we have every year, as long as I can remember. And we also have 2 street closures for you. One is for the parade itself, that will run from the elementary school to downtown and end at Cooch and Monroe. So we already have state approval for the highway closure. That's in the packet as well. We just need your approval for that. And then also we have a closure for the car show, which will be closing the public parking lot on Pine Street, part of Pine Street, and then Ken Wright is going to allow us to use his private parking over behind his tasting room. So we'll have the car show all spread out back there. It'll be a much better location than we had last year, which was an issue. So any questions?
Are there any questions?
Why did they decide not to, like in years past, it's been on Cooch, and that seemed to work.
What's that again?
A car show in years past was over off of Cooch Street all the way down.
Yeah, Cooch was an issue for us with the parade, trying to make that corner with all the floats, and we had huge tractors and stuff, and
Oh,
it was lined with cars. And we also, there's a lot of public parking there on that street that we'd like to keep open, that's close to the event itself, and more businesses in that area as well. So yeah, we'll see how
yeah,
this year
okay.
works.
Yeah, curious
Yeah,
how it.
thank you.
Are there any other questions?
And is it the same, what is it, Sheridan High School?
No, actually, this year, last year Sheridan had an issue because they had too many bookings. And so this year they have backed out, and we have the group that does the casino car shows is coming in
Okay.
this year. So we'll see how the new group does.
Hey,
Brian, I appreciate the work you put into organizing it. Thank you. It makes a great event
It's
for
a
the
team.
city.
I'm just the guy standing here.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's a team effort, so I appreciate it.
Carolyn can tell you, we've got a really good team, and she's been showing up for our meetings, so we appreciate having her there and as a voice for the council. So thank you.
thank you for all you do. Right, was that basically just it?
We need a motion approving the request for free swim day as well as the street closure.
Have a motion? Yes, ma'am.
I can do the motion. I move that the city council approve this free swim day request at the pool, as well as the city street closure request on June 28th, 2025, for the temporary closures of Main, 3rd and Pine Streets for the annual Fun Days Parade and Car Show event.
There a second?
Second.
I second.
I think it might pass.
We want it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you so much, Brian.
Appreciate being the guy presenting the fun thing.
All right. YCSD Superintendent Raver.
Good evening, council. Thanks for inviting me back. As you'll recall, maybe some of you weren't on the council at the time, there may have been some changes, but earlier this year, I gave an update around things just happening with the school district, and was graciously invited back to give another update here as we approach the end of the school year. And so like last time, I brought the real star of the show, Lucas Parton is here. He is the president, ASB, Associated Student Body President-elect for next year. He's a junior this year, he'll be a senior next year, and is president-elect. So I'm going to let Lucas give an update from what's happening from the student perspective, then I'll give a brief update on the district as a whole.
Thank you.
Okay, super awesome to be here. The student body has been participating in a lot of end of year activities. We just had on this last Friday, we had a carnival called Tiger Palooza that we run every year. It's a big hit amongst the students. There was a bouncy house, there's a mechanical bull, there's like chalk art, people make bracelets and stuff. It's a super fun thing. So that happened. Well, athletics have been going awesome lately. The softball team is currently right now playing in the semifinals for for state. And then the track team just got back from state as well. I believe we sent 6 athletes to state this year for a lot of different events, for distance, for throwing, for sprinting. So that was pretty cool. The boys volleyball also made it to the first round of playoffs, I believe. That's a new thing that's been incorporated into our athletics program. And then also the baseball team, I believe, made it to the second round of playoffs as well. So there's been lots of activities with the athletics. I'm also I'm not just the president, I'm also part of the rocketry team. The rocketry team just made national history with the launching of the first liquid bipropellant rocket, which is a little hard to explain, but it basically means we use liquid fuel instead of solid fuel. So that was super cool. We got to go down to California and do that. ASB just hosted their last assembly on this last Tuesday, and it was a big hit. We do a senior versus staff basketball game. Super fun to get all the student participation and all of them out there rooting for the students. And then we also do a fun fashion show that we get all the students to come down to the gym floor, and we get some of our students to walk through, and whoever has the best model walk wins spirit points for their school. We're also just entered into MJ term, which we have our normal school year, and we also have extra terms. We kind of call them fun terms, but they allow students that aren't as academically gifted to basically catch up on work and have an opportunity to get past some of their classes. And then it also acts as another opportunity for kind of a break and to have some more different classes for some of the students that maybe don't have room in their schedule to maybe take a fun class. So for example, right now I'm in a soccer class, so we go out and we just play soccer all day. I know there's a barbecuing class. There's lots of different options, so it's super cool to have that for the school year. And we also, ASB also just had a big student council meeting today, where we planned for our Derby Days float this year. And we just inducted the new ASB. I'm a part of that, so we've got the new ASB now running it, and I'm hoping for a great year. So awesome! Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions for Lucas?
Oh, yeah.
before he
I was just gonna ask that. Anybody?
I have some compliments. Thank you, Lucas. I so appreciate you being here, and I so appreciate, I mean, the kids are the reason why a community exists. There's no point in doing anything without you folks. You're the lifeblood of our community. And I love it that you are coming to report how things are going. One thing I want to point out is I think there's still an open position for youth on our planning commission. Is that right? And we would welcome a young person like you or anyone you know to be on the planning commission and give some voice to the young people. Thanks a
Awesome,
lot.
thank
I
you.
really appreciate you. Thanks.
Awesome.
Sounds like YC's doing good things.
Yes, it's been a great year. So awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas. He kind of breezed past it and made comments about kind of making national history, but I don't think he got into the depth of, as far as we know, that YC is the first high school to ever launch a bipropellant liquid fuel rocket. So that's and really truthfully, it could be in the world. I mean, it's just not something that schools do. Oregon State, I think it took them several years to put theirs together and finally launch that. And that was last year or the year before. My son is an engineering student at George Fox. And I know they were thinking a couple years ago that they were in an attempt to do that, and they still haven't done it. And our kids decided, I don't know, last spring? Yeah, that they were going to do this, and they pulled it off. Lucas's mom has something to add.
I just want to add that he's been a student here at YC for his entire student body, his career. Many, many, many times I've been asked, because we actually moved here from Southeast Portland, big schools,
right? I've been asked many, many times why he goes here and why I don't move him to a bigger school with more opportunities. This is why. This is the result of this school district. This is a result of this community, and take a little bit of credit, but you know, this is why. You know, they flew down, like when I was in school in Beaverton, I went to Sunset. When we went to field trips, we went to the pickle company or, you know, the cookie store or, you know, those kind of things. He went to Sheboygan last year. He went to LA this year. Those are his field trips. So I'm really proud that he has got to school here and continued to go to school here and has produced, I give YC credit.
Thank you.
Anyway.
So proud of you.
And I did want to mention to you about the J and the M term. So like Lucas said, it gives an opportunity for students who maybe have not met the standards or have pulled the academic grades at the end of the term to give them some time to get caught up. Because what typically would happen in the past is after the first semester, a student doesn't pass a class or some classes, they either get put right back into the class the next semester or they're waiting another year to make up those standards and make up those credits. So it gives them a time to make that, instead of kicking the can down the road, make up those credits most immediately. But the incentive is for the students who are on track, have done those things, then there are other classes, high interest electives that we don't typically offer during our normal term because it just doesn't fit. We've got all these required classes we have to do, so they can do some fun things. But all of them are standards based. All of them have a writing component. All of them have a reading and speaking component. Even soccer, I'm not checking on it, but they're supposed to have some standards around that. So it does sound like fun that they get to go out and play soccer every day, but we do expect that there's some academic standards that go with it. So it's not just playtime every day. So, but it's been really great for our students and a lot of success has come from that. So I'll move on with my report. I know I was told that it's a long agenda tonight, so I'd try and keep it as pithy as possible. So we have graduation this Saturday at 4:30 at the back in the football stadium, and we're graduating around 67 students. Remember that the noise and water parade will follow. So my first time here, I could not figure out what was going on. They kind of warned me about it, but until you actually experience it, it's something else. So just remember that's going to be happening that evening. I think it's 6:30 or 7. We just some announcements that we've done. So last Friday at the elementary school, we had a family barbecue. So we invited parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles to come have a barbecue with their students. And we had about 230 family members show up and have barbecue with their child. I cooked and I burned myself. I do what I can for the kids, but you know, I did give one up for the kids on that. This Friday is our K through 8 barbecue. I'm sorry, 4 through 8 barbecue over in the Yamhill campus and a similar activity taking place there. Just some updates. I didn't bring any handouts this time. I will, if I'm invited back in the fall, I'll have some end of the year things from this year that I can share with you in the fall. We're not quite to that point yet. But some things we're working on in the district. We continue to work on health and safety upgrades around the district, looking at improvements in safety infrastructure, including fencing, fence returns, locking systems, cameras. We continue to look at ways that we can upgrade safety around the district in that aspect. One of the big projects that we're working on this summer, it's actually going to start as soon as school is out. The main floor of the high school, there's asbestos in the glue that adheres the tile. It's encapsulated now, so it's not an issue, but we don't want it to become an issue in the future. So we're going to be doing asbestos abatement and replacing the really worn out, disgusting carpet that's been in there for decades with some nice luxury vinyl plank that we have actually already installed in the 3rd floor of the high school. So it's really going to dress up that space, lighten it up. And also it's a big safety improvement for us. Over the course of this last year, we've rekeyed the whole district. We are sure that there were probably very few citizens in the district that didn't have a key to our building at some point in their hand. So we rekeyed the whole district, and we were able to do that in-house with our maintenance department, learned how to do the rekeying. We bought the equipment to do it, and it saved us thousands of dollars by being able to do that. So I went from having a grapefruit-sized wad of keys to carry around with me to I have one key now that opens every door in the district. It's fantastic. My back feels better as well. Kind of the next safety project that we're looking at is looking at funding to install safety vestibules, security vestibules in each of our buildings, particularly at the elementary and the intermediate school. So right now, when a visitor, a parent, somebody comes into the building, if they can bypass the office because we don't have a security infrastructure to stop them from doing that. So we're looking at different funding avenues, grants, looking at ways that we can find money in our general operating budget to try and figure out how to build some security vestibules. The one at the intermediate school is very simple. It really is just as simple as a wall and a couple of doors. The elementary school and the high school are much more difficult. They're going to be much more cost intensive, but that's, we think, a big security upgrade that we need to be able to do. So we continue with general repairs and maintenance around the district. We're trying to catch up on years of deferred maintenance and in some ways just some neglect that's occurred over the decades. So we're working on siding repairs. We're working on rain drains. We're working on gutters and roofing, painting, just a lot of deferred maintenance. So we're trying to check those things off the list as we go. We can't, it's too much for us to do all at once. So we're trying to do as much as we can at a time. You may be aware of this, but the state does not, this is a misconception that, well, the state gives you this money to do this. We actually don't receive money specific for capital improvements. It's just part of our general school fund budget, and we have to allocate dollars out of that for just general maintenance, utilities, and we try to have a reserve fund in case there's a big issue that comes up. But if we were to have a major issue, I don't know if you saw earlier this year, a school in Medford had a roof collapse due to snow load. If we were to have something that major, we don't have funds to cover something like that, right? So really it just takes care of general maintenance. We are, let's see. Just wanted to inform you, because I talked about this before, we are projecting lower enrollment over the next couple of years. We had an enrollment study done a couple of years ago for a 10-year projection, and then we're looking at 27, 28. It's going to bump back up. We're not losing, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of students as projected, but it's 20 students, and that's quite a bit of money for a small district. So we just want people to be aware of that. We know there's a lot of construction going on. There's a lot of houses being built. We're just not seeing a lot of kids come out of those houses. So with all that being said, we're still in financial situation. We have done a great job fiscally. We are one of, I think, 5 districts in the state that PERS has not had a negative effect on us yet. And that really has nothing to do with us. It was a business manager 15 or 20 years ago that took out a PERS side account at just the right time when the conditions were just right. That's led us to this position where we have not had an impact from the PERS. It is coming though, as the PERS rates continue to increase. We know it's coming on the horizon. So we're planning now to try and offset that so that it's not such a big cliff for us when that time comes. We have had a really healthy ending fund balance over the last couple of years. We are starting to cut into that, not in a situation where we're in any kind of dire straits or anything, but just like for everybody else, if eggs go up for you at the grocery store, they go up for us too. So the cost of doing business, utilities, water, power, all those things are going up, and it impacts the school district just the same. So, but we are on sound financial footing at this time. Let's see. We will have some belt tightening over this next year, just as we see the enrollment projections and we know that the cost of doing business is going up. So we are looking at some reductions, but it is through attrition. It's very minimal reductions. The students won't feel an impact from these reductions, but it's mainly through attrition. So just positions that we won't hire back. And the good news out of all this is and I know this affects you as well as a city, that the revenue projection from the state for May was not good. We weren't sure how that was going to affect us as a school district. We were very nervous that the projected 11.36 that came from the governor's office was going to be whittled away, but it just passed through the Ways and Means Committee that they're going to stick with the 11.36, and that's what we budgeted on. So that's good news for us as a district. We should be sound going into next year. So, okay, any questions?
I'm in awe.
Question.
Yeah.
So a couple things. The, you said this year there's a reduction in students of 10 or 20?
So at our lowest point, what we're looking at projection over the next couple of years is within 20 students from where we are now. We did see a loss over the course of this year. I think it was a net loss of about 15 students from where we started in September to where we're ending this year.
So there's going to be an increase going forward?
No, we're going to still continue to see a little gradual decrease for the next 2 years. And then based on projections, again, this is all on projections, it could go way up if we get a bunch of kids out of these new construction. It could also go down, but we're looking at 27, 28 to start to see our enrollment pick
So-
back up.
Maybe you can't answer this question, but do you think that part of that is just because of how, lack of affordability for housing?
Well, I'm not an expert. I do think that, when you're looking at families that have young children, right, they're generally probably starting out in their lives, that certainly cost of housing is going to be an issue for them. I know that some of the homes here that are being built maybe is out of their price range as a starter home. There's not a lot of multifamily housing, so that's sometimes an affordable option for families. So I'm sure all of that plays a role. But I will also say, nationally and really internationally, people are having fewer kids. Birth rates are declining across the globe, and we're not immune to that. Just people are choosing not to have children, and so we're feeling those effects as well.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Question? Comment?
I appreciate the great work you're doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Hey, Recology, you guys are up.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Full disclosure, I'm a Dayton Pirate. I graduated from there and I live there still. So do we have any update on the softball score yet?
Just came out. I have to tell you.
Ooh, is it bad news?
We lost mine.
Oh, so Dayton. Okay. All right. Sorry, I had to get that off. Thank you again for having me here tonight. My name's Nick Olheiser. I'm the Assistant General Manager for our Recology Western Oregon operations here in the Valley. And Shannon, do you have the PowerPoint by chance or?
She's working on it right
Awesome.
now.
Perfect. Thank you. I know on your agenda, it says Dan Blue is going to be here tonight, but it is his birthday. So we allowed him to have the night off and have a nice dinner with his family. We gave him a few steakhouse recommendations. So hopefully he comes back with a good report tomorrow morning for us. So while she brings the PowerPoint up, we will be discussing our rate increase with you all tonight. But before that, I only have about 2-3 slides. We'll go over Recology as a whole. We'll talk about some of our local operations that we have here. And we'll also review some of the community outreach that we've been really focusing on over the last couple of years and want to continue to focus on too. So some good reports that we have coming. And I will say with me tonight is my Senior General Manager, Chris Carey. He's here for moral support or scolding, whatever it might be here at the end. So. So it was worth you came, yeah.
So while we're waiting, Clint, can you say again what the score of the game was?
Dayton won 5-4.
Uh-oh. So Amy's not with us tonight because Ella is playing in that game, so.
Oh.
Although it's all the conflict you had, they would have won, Gus graduates on
Friday.
Friday. So
Oh, and that's the finals. Yep.
So she was like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a supervisor at the McMinnville Transfer Station. He actually used to help be assistant coach last year for YC. So he's actually helping assistant coach McMinnville tonight in their semifinal. So I don't know how they did yet, but we'll see. Perfect. Could we go to the next slide right away, please? Perfect. All right, a little bit about Recology. We're a West Coast only collection company with just under 4,000 employee owners. We serve 137 communities through 26 collection companies. We operate 24 transfer stations, 14 MRFs, and 8 composting facilities. 3 of the 8 are located here in Oregon throughout the Valley. We have one in North Plains, one here in McMinnville, and we also have one just outside of Salem at our Almsville location there as well. I do like to emphasize really quickly right here that we're not a landfill-based company. We don't own any landfills here in Oregon or in Washington. We do own 2 down in California that came through acquisition of companies. So we do not make strategic decisions based upon getting materials to landfills, which generally on average have higher profit margins. That's not our goal. So our goal is to focus on material management and recovery and best use of repurposing the items that we collect. So I do like to emphasize that. The other thing that I like to make mention of is we are 100% employee owned. So what that means is no employee can own more than 1% of a share of the company. So throughout their tenureship with the company, shares are doled out at the end of their employment when they retire. And at 59.5 generally is when the shares are purchased back, hopefully at a higher price than when they were given to those employees. That money goes into those employees' pockets. That money is spent here locally throughout the communities in restaurants, housing, shopping, all of that. So that money ends up back here locally. So that's something that we're really, really proud of as well. So next slide, please. So just to highlight some of the local operations that we have here in the Valley, you can see the communities that we serve on the right, including Carlton throughout Yamhill and Polk County. The collection company located over off of Lafayette Avenue in McMinnville is what helps support those communities that we serve. It's there that we have our trucks are housed, our shop yard is there, as well as our admin office or our offices that have our administrative specialists, as well as our local CSR team is based out of there as well. Adjacent to our collection company is our transfer station over off of Orchard Avenue. It's there that you'll find our very robust public drop-off depot for those of you that have been there. A lot of offerings for residents of the county, the community, including Carlton, to visit that site, drop off anything from cardboard to plastic, tin, scrap metal. You can also bring additional trash that might not fit in your roll cart at your curb. And then next to the transfer station, we have our compost facility. That is where you can bring in yard debris, drop that off. We have a very expansive retail sales yard there as well. So you can pick up rock or bark, set up delivery. So it's a very unique operation that we have here in the Valley, and we're very proud of it. Unique in the sense of it's almost a one-stop shop for our customers and the residents. They can pop over, pay their garbage bill, or they can jump over, drop off some cardboard, and then pick up bark dust and take it back to their residence or their business all in the same visit. So it's really, really cool, really unique, and we're really, really proud of it. So. Next slide, please. Really quickly, we'll highlight some of the community outreach services that we have done over the last year and want to continue to do. Some of the events that were part of the Yamhill County Fair. We do a lot of Earth Day activities during the month of April. We'll chat about one of those here in a minute. We're part of the air show. More importantly, we have been, and will continue to be part of Carlton Fun Days Parade. I talk about it in the next slide, I believe, but I want to steal some of the thunder. We got a few new trucks in this year. So I plan on having one of those brand new trucks in this parade this year. I'm really proud of that. So took us a while to get these new trucks. So I want to show them off as well. And then we also were able to be a part of the Carlton cleanup event where we donated boxes. We also had volunteers down there. I think it was about a little over a month ago now. I was down there for the first hour and a half. It was really cool to see how many residents take advantage of that program that the city puts on. It only benefits the city and the residents to be able to clean up their yard, beautify their space and the space around the community as well. So that's great. Dan talked about this last time I was here, but since then we have wrapped up our Earth Day poster contest. So we partnered with all the schools in the county, elementary schools, and kids were able to submit artwork that was geared around Earth Day or reuse, recycle, repurpose to our offices. We then reviewed all of the artwork and we picked not only a winner for each school, but we picked an overall winner. And the overall winning class got a pizza party. The teacher got a gift card that was able to be utilized for school supplies and different things like that for the class. But then the really cool thing is we took the overall winner and we put it on t-shirts, and we gave those t-shirts out at our transfer station during our Earth Day event last April. So that was really, really cool. It's the first year that we've done this, and we plan on doing it going forward. I think we had, round down, I think we had 65 students participate in that. So it was really cool to see all the artwork that we had upstairs when we went up there and had to vote on them. Each one, it was just laid out in all of our different offices and common spaces. So it was really cool to see how much participation that we had. That was awesome. For programs, again, Dan talked about it, but since then, our artist in residency program, we have selected 2 artists. And for those of you that are not familiar with that, this is a new program to the Valley, not to the company by any means though. And this is a 4-month-long program where 2 artists are selected. They receive a stipend during those 4 months. And essentially those artists have full access to our transfer station. So they'll go into the transfer station, they're able to pick out materials from different piles that are either might be going to a wastebound stream or a processing facility somewhere else, and they're able to create art out of that. After the 4-month program is done in the fall, in October, we're doing a 1 to 2 week long gallery showing. So the artists can show off all the art that they created. And they can also sell the art at that gallery as well. And then the proceeds go back to the artists that were selected who are local here to the communities in Yamaha County as well. So something that we've done for a very long time down in San Francisco and in Portland. Our Coast Collections does it as well. So we're really excited to get that program off the ground here in the Valley as well. Something that's going to be very exciting. So more to come on that this fall when we get a gallery. So, and then one thing I really want to touch base on really quick, or maybe not really quick, but something that we're proud of, but we're not happy completely yet with, is our customer service. This has been a huge focal point for us over these last 12 months. It's a focal point and a focus for us right now on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, focusing on getting our average wait times down, improving customer experience when they do call in. I am happy to say that year over year, we have seen a 71% reduction in average wait time. But I will pause there and say we're still not satisfied with where we'd like to be. And we're going to continue to make a huge push and effort towards training, updating our systems, making sure we're fully staffed, anything that we can do to make sure we continue to get these average wait times down. So just want to make mention of that really quick for everyone. So something that we're working on. Next slide, please. All right, now the rate review portion of this. So just getting right to it, this year we are requesting a 2.1% rate increase across all lines of service for this next year. The good thing about this pairs really closely with CPI from April to April, which also came in at 2.1%. Just to quickly call it out immediately, the impact to a 32-gallon customer is 45 cents a month. And the more common customer, our 90-gallon customers, it's going to be a 75-cent impact per month. And we're going to reveal it a little bit more on the next slide on the actual rate sheets as well. I'll touch base just quickly on the franchise and the language around it. We have a language in the franchise that states that we are allowed to have a allowable operating ratio range of 85 to 91%. So we are regulated on how much we can make as a company. And that's based upon looking at last year's actuals and this year's projected that we're currently in right now. Prior year actual operating ratio came in at 86.4%. This year's projected operating ratio with the 2.1% puts us at 87.9%. So it's really right in the middle of that range. And also within the franchise, I believe there's a target range of 88%, which this increase puts us right at. So want to call that out really quick. Some of the main primary pressures on the rates this year, the reason why we're asking for the 2.1%, the most, I guess, impactful one is tip fees increasing at Coffin Butte landfill. This last year, we saw 11% increase on tip fees. Main reasons for that, Covanta and Brooks, I don't know if anyone's aware, they shut down in January. And because of that, all Marion County tons, most Marion County tons are traveling to Coffin Butte. Coffin Butte's already at a point with some restricted airspace already. So with more tons flowing in there, that airspace is even more restricted. And as that happens, that airspace becomes more valuable. So we not only saw an 11% increase this year, but that is something that we could see in the next future years as well. Now, I will say locally, once we wrap up rate review season, we're going to be looking at other options, other landfills that we might be able to funnel tons to. Whether it be for pricing or not, Coffin Butte only has so many years left regardless. So this is a long-term strategy that we need to be doing for our business strategy as well as for the residents as well. So that is something that we're looking at as well. I spoke about it a couple slides ago, but we did receive new trucks this year. We received 3 new trucks in the Valley fleet. That's really important because our average fleet age is 16 years, which is getting way too high for us. We took possession of those during pretty much the winter months, and we finally got those in our fleet. And I say finally because some of these trucks were ordered anywhere from 2 to 4 years ago. So it was really nice, and effects of COVID, manufacturing delays, parts. These are specialized pieces of equipment, so they're specialized parts that we're just having delays. So it was really nice to finally see some of these new trucks flow into our fleet. And that's the truck that I plan on having the parade right there in the photo actually too. So, and then some additional, we did some improvements at our McMinnville yard with some paving, some improvements at that facility, not only help with the drivers, but help with customer experience as well. So that's some of the other things that we had, and as well as general inflation, something that we're all experiencing. So, but again, with all of these pressures, we're really pleased that we're able to come in with just a CPI of 2.1%. So next slide, please. So the next few slides, these are just a snippet of our rate sheets, and you can see we already spoke to the impact, but we have circled the most common customer, our 90-gallon weekly garbage cart service. At the 2.1% is the 75% increase, bringing us to 36.55 per month. It's not highlighted, but above that, you can see the 32-gallon that I mentioned previously with the 2.1%. That's the 45% or 45-cent increase, bringing us to 21.96 per month. And then the next slide is just a quick snippet of our commercial rate increase. Next slide, please. Perfect. There we go. So we just wanted to show an example of the impacts on a commercial commercial container impact as well. We just picked the 1.5 yard trash as an example. With the 2.1% increase, we're seeing a $4.17 monthly increase, bringing it to $202.78. So, and I believe that's all we have. Happy to answer any questions or field any comments. And Chris is here as well in case there's something that I can't.
Is there any increase in the glass recycled?
So that's all included in the rate for the 75 cent for the 90-gallon. That's for all services that you have. So.
I have a question about Covanta. I know it's closed now, but you guys were using it?
No, we weren't. So we've always been going to Coffin Butte landfill. But with the closure of Covanta, it's now directed all the Marion County tons to Coffin Butte. And because of that, that airspace is now limited and their years of service are potentially lower than they were before that. So essentially with that airspace being more limited, it's more valuable. So they're increasing their rates to accommodate that. Supply demand almost kind of a approach.
Hard to believe Coffin Butte is that close to being full already, that it seems like that one was just barely opened.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of different numbers on lifespan left on it. It depends who you talk to. We've heard 4, we've heard 10, we've heard 6, we've heard all of those. Regardless, they're going through a lot of political pressure on some expansion efforts that they're trying to do.
Yeah.
We have heard if they don't get that, they could have 6 to 10 years, but regardless, they only have so much longer left. It's not a 50-year landfill. So it's forcing us to be strategic and figure out different options and avenues that we can go.
Are the rates at the transfer station going up?
Rates at the transfer station did go up on May 1st. They went up on an average, I believe, of 5.4%. So, and that was only on the inbound trash side of it. All the other commodities didn't go up or anything. Antifreeze, tires, none of that got affected.
For what it's worth, we put in a community garden this year. And the soil that we used for the community garden came from you guys.
Great, awesome.
You should see what that garden is doing.
Is it taking off? That's great.
Yeah, it's very happy. And we have put no fertilizers or anything else on it. It's just been the soil that we got from out there at Greenlands.
That's great. That's awesome. He's got to talk.
I want to add. So he's being modest. He's been with Recology for 17 years. 17 years. And he's been in charge of that compost operation the entire time. And he's also running our North Plains and our Almsville. Those are 150,000 ton facilities. By the way, they've been upgraded and expanded with the latest technology. You're all welcome to ask us to come for a tour because we love giving them. To take a look at it, but he's been making that good soil for you for a long time. So,
Well, it's good. Thank you,
Chris. Is that it? Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Alrighty. YCTC Memorandum of Understanding.
Before we move on, Mayor, could we have a motion regarding Recology's request for a rate adjustment?
I tried. Okay. Do I have a motion to how do we do this?
Do we have a motion to authorize Recology's rate request for a rate adjustment effective July 1st, 2025?
I move to approve the rate increase for 2025.
Is there a second?
Second?
It has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. Okay. Can we move on now? We can move on. All righty. So that brings us to YCTC.
Correct.
Um,
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, in front of you tonight is an updated memorandum of understanding with YCTC. This came before you in 2023 for approval. This is a memorandum that has been worked on between city team members as well as YCTC staff and has gone before both boards for approval. At this time, we have updated one paragraph, that is paragraph 3 on page 253. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on the top of my head. Couldn't tell if it was 63 or 53. Page 253, paragraph 3. We have given this to the YCTC board. We have met with the executive director April 18th, and after we updated it, gave it to them on May 31st. We have not received a signed copy with YCTC, but the MOU is expiring, so we wanted to bring it forward to you tonight. Upon your approval, we will forward the signed copy to the YCTC board.
any discussion? Questions? Do we have a motion?
I move that the council approve the updated 2025 memo of understanding with the ML Carlton Together Cares organization for use of the Winterberg Park ball fields.
There's a second?
I second.
And moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Oh, let's see, that brings us to item F, the master fee schedule.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, in front of you is the annual master fee schedule update with its changes. And I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Martinez at this time.
So we bring the master field schedule to you once a year. Some of the rates have already been adopted in the budget, but this gives you a recap of it. It is, we've had a overall adding the 2.9% COLA that we're incurring on our side and passing it on through our rates for some recoupment. The first part section is municipal court. Sorry, I was reading two words at once. It has been many years without any increases or changing. So we did have our court clerk, Morgan Shelton, do some research with all other courts in Yamhill County, and we brought our fees in line with those fees. In the pool, even though we operate a small loss, we had some significant rising costs for the materials and chemicals this year, and offsetting it also by the cost of living of 2.9%. And just a side note, when he was talking about his was 2.1, that could be a question. We are assigned by population what grid we use off the CPI index, and for the city of Carlton, it's the West Division Pacific. Recology is assigned off of a different district. The SDCs are increased by the CPI every year. It's 2.9. Contractors were notified of the pending change so that they aren't surprised. And the water rates were adopted in the budget, but the water rate increase is just COLA of 2.9. Sewer rate increase is 6.9. That's COLA plus monies to help with the pending capital improvement projects. Any questions for the fees?
I have a question. So if a community member wanted to have a potluck here in this in this hall, they would be renting it for a minimum of $125 per hour with a 2-hour minimum. Am I right?
What page are you looking at?
So I am looking at page 2 of the fee schedule. Or
so those are already adopted rates. The
Right.
memos, the parts I just did are just the changed rates.
yeah, I'm just asking for
Oh.
background information because people ask me, well, gosh, maybe I want to have a potluck there. And so and they say, well, how much does it cost? And I'm just confirming. How much it
Well,
costs?
it's a wide variety. I know that we brought this to council over several meetings, but say you want to come in and do your homework, there's no cost. If you're a nonprofit, if you have a business license, there's no cost. If it's an
Right.
event where it's involving food, it's a whole different. It's multi-tiered, so it's kind of hard for me to narrow it
Sure.
down to that. A potluck would be a food type venue and cleaning. And then for those events, we staff them.
Right. So it would be a 2-hour minimum. So it would be $370 for that, for just to have the room. Then an additional kitchen fee. And then key deposit, then the deposits would be returned, yeah?
Yes, deposits are returned.
And then do they have to have a police staffing it or not?
It would be a staff member staffing it. It's not necessarily public safety.
Okay, so there would be some staff person that would have to be there.
Mhm.
So that would be a 2 hours of $65 an hour. And then if they wanted to use table and chairs, then it's an additional fee.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
It does say 3-hour minimum. You see that?
It is a 3-hour minimum, 1 hour for setup, 1 hour for cleanup.
The one nice part is that the community room has really been well received and well used. People are really excited about having the opportunity to have this community room.
Has anybody rented it yet for like a private party or anything?
We
Have you
had a
used it?
big event, at the HOA with Carlton Crest. Was that it? Yes, it was a very large event. I think they had an attendance of 50.
Sure.
Remembering, that was a while ago.
But that was nonprofit, right? So they didn't pay a
No,
rental.
that
They-
was not a nonprofit. That was an event involved food, kitchen.
So they rented it for the full price then.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And the
Welcome.
CBA is having their semi-annual event just this upcoming Wednesday.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Have a resolution here?
I move that council approve and authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2025-368, updating the master fee schedule.
There a second?
Second.
And moved and seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All righty, that brings us down to the council liaison and city manager updates that we do periodically. And I'm trying to find. Okay, this has been a formalized process for participation on committees. The agenda item provides an opportunity for council liaisons to deliver public updates on any committee activities that occurred over the past month. We're going to start today with Mayor Watkins. I don't know who that person is, but she seems to be around. And the first group that I'm going to be reporting on, this actually ends up being kind of a combination because I monitor the League of Oregon Cities, which is the League of Oregon Cities, which takes in all the cities in the state. It also covers the Oregon Mayors Association, excuse me, and Yamhill County Mayors. The reason that I am grouping this all at one time is because a very interesting requirement came in recently, and this is kind of for our counselors to be aware of. The Oregon Government Ethics Commission has, in their wisdom, decided to make some changes in, trying to think how to describe this. Food being supplied to councils and volunteers during city activities. Up until now, we have been able to, as we do the goal setting that we do, we're able to cater in light meals for the people that are working on the goal setting so that we don't have to close down everything and go somewhere to find something to eat. What the Oregon Government Ethics Committee has decided is that this will no longer be allowed. We can have the meetings, they can have food there, but basically each individual will have to bring their own food if they want to be fed. It's not going to be any kind of volunteer activity where we would normally be feeding volunteers, or mostly volunteers is what they're looking at in staff. We will no longer be able to, as they are setting this up, be able to provide food unless we figure out some way around. So needless to say, there are a lot of cities and a lot of mayors and a lot of folks who are perturbed about this, because we count on volunteers and we count on at least being able to feed our volunteers when we need people to help us with various things. The League of Oregon Cities, Patty Mulvihill is their what's the word I'm looking for? Council?
Executive director.
Thank you. And I think she's going to be having some conversations with the Oregon Government Ethics Committee. And I'm sure that at some of the, if anybody in here is going to any gatherings, I'm sure that you will be hearing conversations about this, because it's causing a great deal of concern within the community of city government. We don't know what's going to happen with it yet. It's all it is right now is just a lot of people who are pretty concerned and trying to figure out what they're going to be able to do with that. But it will definitely affect the way that we work with volunteers and work with staff for projects. So that was one of the big ones that was going on. Oh, let's see, what else have we had going on in the last month? We have had, do you want me to go ahead and do the all hands, or do you want to do that? Water. So within the county, the councils and the cities have been talking seriously about, and we've talked about a lot of this stuff before in here, the fact that we can't rely on the water systems and the water supplies as they are now as we look down the road, knowing that there will be growth and knowing that with climate change and a lot of other things that we could be looking at some serious problems with water supplies. So we are starting all hands conversations regarding the regional water system, which is something that of course has been on our plate for a long time too and under discussion. So we're getting serious about that. This will include McMinnville, basically all the cities right now in the county that we would be talking to about this and figuring out what kinds of options there are for creating common, common water systems or how we're going to be using that and working with it. So we're just starting that. We did get a grant from help me, the grant that
We got a grant from Business Oregon in order for us to go out for an RFP for a consultant to look at the nuts and bolts of what a water system would look like on a regional level, as well as what a governance structure would look like.
So, and we had the first meeting on that last week, more of an organizational meeting and discussion about what what the actual structure of the organization will look like. But that is something that obviously is a great concern for all of us, and we don't have a lot of time to wait any longer on that. Let's see, and the last week, oh yes, last week was, in case anybody missed it, Public Works Week. And so a friend of mine and I baked cookies for our guys down in the Public Works building. So, yeah, well, I asked Brian what kind he wanted. He said chocolate chip and peanut butter, so that's what they got. And we really appreciate our Public Works guys, and I hope that they enjoyed the cookies. So that takes care of, I think that's enough on that list. You're going to hear more about the water as time goes on, but that's enough on that list. So the next person up is, let's see, what do we got here? County mayors, all hands, Amy Willamette, Council President Skipper, who skipped out on us. Which tourism, and that was tourism and CBA, do we?
The CBA, as I mentioned earlier, will be meeting, having their semi-annual meeting this Wednesday in this room. And the Tourism Committee is actually meeting this Friday, and we'll be hearing about the website update proposals that Connie mentioned at the last meeting.
And Councilor Erickson, anything on the rail corridor cleanup and county discussion?
Nothing has changed yet. I got to spend some time with Shannon about an open town community event, so we can let the citizens know all about what we've been talking and doing.
Cool.
Thank you for that introduction. I would like to look at scheduling a town hall in the month of July. Are there any dates I should avoid for any of you? In July.
July, just any dates to avoid.
The 3rd.
The whole month of July.
No, just the 3rd.
Oh.
The 3rd to the 8th. I'll be at them. I'll check some more of this.
Anyone else? Anything come to mind? Okay. Sounds good. Thought I'd get you right. Well, I had a captive audience.
But I'm super excited about it, so I definitely will be there whenever you schedule it.
Okay.
I'll make things work.
Okay.
Great. Oh, and that's it for Grant?
That's it for me.
Okay, Counselor Thompson-Reiser.
Hey, I've got fun days, and I went to the meeting on May 20th, and I passed along the city goodies for Shanny's Run swag bags, and the city's giving writing pens as well as lapel pins and stickers. So they were super pleased to get some goodies from the city. There was a dialogue about the park upgrades and the food trucks that they're going to try to bring the food trucks into the park over the new brickwork, and it will be wonderful. And and it's all going to work out on time because Ben Powers has promised. Anyway, There was some questions about the possibility of removing the back fence panels, just one or two of them, so they could load things into that beer garden area easier. And I guess if there's a band, they would be back there. So city's aware of that. I have communicated that. There's always a need for volunteers to come and help with our pedestrian traffic, especially during the parade. And they asked me to try to get a hold of CERT, which provides some people. And I have sent an email to the vice chair of CERT. And I've also, Jose Chavez from our planning commission has volunteered, and I have emailed him on the plan for helping with pedestrian safety. I plan to attend the June 17th meeting, which is the next meeting. And then June 27th is it, starting Friday night and all day Saturday, the 28th. And I will be manning the emergency prep / city table, kind of doing two jobs, handing out our promotional items from the city. And I'll do this with my sister. This is my 3rd year. I love it.
It's fun.
And they did twist my arm. I'll be flagging this year.
Yay!
Good job.
I'll join you at the table there, like I did last year, Carolyn.
Yeah, drop by. Drop by, come see us.
Okay. And that takes us to Counselor Ward Mullen and Transportation System Plan.
This is just a bit of an aside, but my packet ends right there with Carolyn Thompson Riser.
Really?
Yeah, nothing goes.
Yeah, it should be page 272.
No, I mean, it's just, I don't know what's going on here.
Oh,
Anyway, never mind.
Want to see Mike?
No, I don't need to see it. It's
Oh.
just weird. Okay. The
did
only
you have something then, or
sorry, what?
did you, oh, I was gonna say.
No, I'm just gonna,
Okay.
and I'm just
Okay.
telling you, that's a separate thing. I don't know what's going on here. But,
Okay.
So the only thing really that I have to report is that on June 9th is the final TSP committee meeting. And then on July 1st, as I think you are probably all aware, received information of the Joint Council and Planning Commission meeting to cover the most recent updates to the transportation plan. That's basically all I have.
Takes us to.
Thank you. And I continue to keep the Carlton Fire District Board updated on our upcoming projects, infrastructure projects, as well as our funding requests at the state legislature, which leads me into the state legislature. We're still waiting to hear whether or not we will receive the funding for the water loop around the school, as well as consideration of our request to replace the $1 million that we lost in the FY25 federal continuing resolution. So continue to keep your fingers crossed. We are waiting. A lot of cities and a lot of agencies have a lot of needs, and they only have so much, like we all do in all of our budgets, to go around. So, but keep your fingers crossed. I do want to highlight, it was in your consent agenda about the 2025 Recology in comparison to last year. We had about 68 total vehicles that we served. 58 of those used the trash bins, 30 versus 66 last year. So, sorry, we had 68 total vehicles this year, 92 last year. 58 used the trash bins this year, 66 used the trash bins in 2024. 38 used the metal bins this year. 47 used the metal bin last year. 13 used the yard debris bin this year. And 29 used the yard debris bin in 2024. That was a marked difference in yard debris that we saw. A lot of bags that Counselor Erickson did not have to empty and turn over out of leaves that were decomposing in the bags. I think that speaks to us offering the subscription service for yard debris. in the city of Carlton, as a lot of people are not having to wait to collect and then have to get rid of it on a yearly basis. And then we had 8 vehicles this year use the electronics bin and 11 vehicles last year use the electronics bin. So we did see a decrease overall, but it was still very well attended. I think some of the things that we saw this year was a lot of items that are very difficult to get rid of. Lots of recliners, lots of mattresses, lots of above ground pools. Yeah. So we had peace. Yeah. Yeah. So less traditional household trash that we've seen in previous years, and a lot more items that, people have difficulty getting rid of. So that was a definite difference, along with the yard debris. We do have our peace pole ceremony on June 9th. This was a council approval earlier this year. We have the ceremonies at 3:30 p.m. in Ladd Park on Monday, the 9th. And that is coming up. Yeah.
You'll be sending out another notice about that.
I will make a note to have Amy do another push out. For the Grant Street project, we went out to bid. Bids opened yesterday. So it went out to all of our general publications, all the engineering publications. It is on our website under bids and RFPs if you would like to see the documents yourself and read what it's about. The bid opening is July 2nd, so you can anticipate that we will be bringing an approval to award in August for that project. So we're glad to see that construction move forward and that project get underway as part of the 2.2 million that was awarded federally in FY23. East Main, which is the $500,000 that was awarded in FY24, that we lost the $1 million in FY25. I sat with the USDA on Monday and finalized the last piece that was required to do the quote-unquote application. Even though it is a federal grant through the congressionally directed spending, every time we go through this, we have to go through the agency's application process. For the USDA, that meant over 24 documents and over 8 certifications, in addition to other things like defining the service area, providing budgets, timelines. So that has finally been completed. It is now in the USDA's hands to review those documents, which will take the next couple of weeks, and then we will start going back and forth with questions. So it is a process, even though it is a congressionally directed spending award. As part of that, because each agency has their own unique requirements, they just need to hear you consent today. We do not need a roll call vote. We do not need a motion. But although it's in our charter, it's in our directives about authority, they just want to hear your consent that you are okay as this grant moves forward for Christy and I to sign the draw request to get reimbursed for the expenses that we will be receiving and seeking reimbursement from. So we just need consent from you.
I guess.
Aye. Thank you. If we can make sure that's reflected in the minutes, because they'll want that. Thank you very much. I won't go over a lot more in detail unless you have specific questions. I do want to circle back. I was able to go back through. It is page 11 of your current packet, talks about the West Main utility undergrounding. And that is obviously a larger project. And so we were looking at coordinating with PGE for the undergrounding of West Main. And that is what that was referring to in the Urban Renewal District. And again, we always encourage questions ahead of the meeting. We always have a lot of materials, as everyone well knows. And so if you ask us ahead of the meeting, we can have those answers for you so that it doesn't frustrate you or any constituents, but we have that information. So we thank you for that. And that is the end of my report unless there are specific questions.
Okay. All righty. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Morgan. All right.